I mean, when you talk about Miami, you gotta, they gotta be one of the most talented teams. You got D Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron. That big three there. But the big three is definitely not going to be enough to take it. I mean, we saw last year where they were right there, but if they'd have had a few more pieces, they may could have taken that thing. This year, they pick up not really anybody. They didn't make any major moves this year. Probably the most important move they made was pick up Shane Battier. Who's a player I never really, to be honest, I never really cared a whole lot for him, but dude is good in what he does. He's a good defensive player. He's a glue guy. He keeps the team together, and he can guard. He can take the pressure off LeBron and D Wade as far as guarding the other team's best players. So they'll relieve them of some of that pressure, and free them up to score a little bit more down the stretch, especially. So that was a big pickup. And the whole key to that team, though, is one of the guys that I've always liked. He's been out of the league for 2 or 3 years, and he's a project, even though when he's on his game, he's probably one of the most unstoppable players in the league. We just don't know what he's going to give us this year. He's been out of the league for 3 years, and that's Eddie Curry. EC, as I like to call him, the big man. Okay, if he comes back and comes anywhere close to what he was when he left, which is, doubtful, but if he can get 75%, I mean, that's going to give him a presence in the middle that's going to really, really maybe put them over the top. I don't know. I mean, Eddie Curry, if he can give them that inside scoring threat that they didn't have. I mean, they had everything else last year, but they didn't have an inside scoring threat. He can give them that, then they have a chance to take it. Of course, his health is going to be the issue. He's lost 70 pounds, which is saying a lot considering he was in the lockout and he's been out for 3 years. To lose 70 pounds is really saying a lot. So Eddie Curry is the key to Miami Heat this year. Number 3, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me here. And yes, I am on the wagon. The bandwagon, the LA Clippers, number 3. And the reason I say this is because of the players that they got. I mean, it's one thing to bring in a LeBron, who is a superstar, but it's another thing when you bring in a guy like a Chris Paul, who is a quarterback, and if anybody can make a team gel, it's going to be the quarterback. So you bring in probably the best point guard in the league. Then, on top of that, you bring in Chauncey Billups, who, let's face it, the guy's getting a little old, but he still can ball. He's shown that in the 2 games of the preseason. He's more inspired. In New York, he didn't really care, man. And whatever the other team, Denver, because let's face it, nobody wants to be in Denver. Nobody. Well, he wanted to be in New York, but then when they traded to L.A., he was like, okay. So you put Chris Paul and Chauncey Billups on the floor together. Chauncey Billups still can make shots. Chauncey Billups still can guard the 1 and the 2. So you put them 2 on the floor together, you got quite a team to go with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. This guy, DeAndre Jordan, I'm telling you, he's the real deal, okay? He's what you really want in a center. I mean, I think he's the only guy last year, they said, I've seen this stat a couple times, that scored every single point in the paint. Now, you might say that's bad, dude can't shoot, but that's what you want your center to do, to me. I don't want my center all around the three-point line, I want him to stay in the paint. I mean, they got enough scorers, okay? So you got DeAndre Jordan, who probably, if it wasn't for Blake Griffin, would be the most athletic player in the league. And he's 6'10". I mean, Blake Griffin is 6'8". This guy's 6'10" and got tremendous long arms, can hop, and he's hungry. So, I mean, that Lakers, those first 2 games, he showed me, yeah, he's ready. Okay, so you got him to go along with Chauncey and Caron Butler. When Caron Butler is healthy, he's one of the better small forwards in the league also. So you got Caron Butler. Then, people don't talk about this. You got Randy Foye on the bench. Randy Foye is one of those players that, because he went to Minnesota, he kind of got lost in the shuffle. But Randy Foye is a good player. He was a lottery pick. He was like a top 5 pick. And he can play. You got him coming off the bench. You got Mo Williams. Are you serious? Coming off the bench. This guy, we know what he can do. And he's in the best shape of his career. He said he was a little bit heavy the last few years. So he's down to 180, a good playing weight, and he's hungry. Got Mo Williams. Then Ryan Gomes, another guy that most people don't know about unless you kept up with Minnesota basketball a little bit. Ryan Gomes is a player. Okay, the reason I kept up with Minnesota, of course, my boy Al Jefferson was there. So I've seen him play a few times, and I know the guy can play. So then they just picked up today Reggie Evans. I mean, dude is he's like a hatchet, man. He's tough. I mean, dude is mean. So the Clippers got that mean streak. They got shooters, they got dunkers, they got quarterbacks, they got everything, man. So I gotta put them in the 3 slot. I mean, I know you may say, well, it's gonna take time, but no. And plus, they got a good coach, Del Negro. I mean, he did a good job in Chicago. I was really surprised that they let him go. So he's a good coach. So look for Miami to really do some things. I mean, not Miami, the Clippers, to really do some things. And I mean, I would not be surprised if they won the West, to be honest with you. I mean, I know everybody's saying, they're going to be good. I mean, I see some guys on there saying they're going to be contenders, but they're not ready. I mean, why? Look at who they have. Not only their starting 5, but their bench. So I may be wrong, but I think they're automatically, immediately going to be top 5 for sure, unless Chris Paul gets injured. That's the only thing I can see that would stop them from being top 5. All right, so next we go with OKC. OKC, man, it's time to put up a shut up for OKC. I mean, seriously. They have been up and coming for the last couple years. Got maybe the best all-around player in the league. But it's time to put up a shut up because Westbrook, you know, he's coming up on a contract year. You know, the kid, it's time to go. It's time to go, man. So, OKC, we already know what they got. They haven't really added anybody. But they will have Perkins for a full year. And that's going to mean a lot because Perkins, let's be honest with you, he's the best pickup that they had last year. So, by picking him up for a whole year, and they say he's in the best shape he's been in forever, that's going to make OKC, you know, in that 4 level. I still don't think they're good enough to win it all because they don't really have a good enough bench yet.